let's go. Alright, first off, gotta turn off this chill music. There we go. Gone. And... oh. Hello. Here we are. Okay, so today I'm gonna share the main screen actually, so that I can see everything. So we're gonna duplicate this real quick and then we'll get started. Alright, we are live, and I'm almost ready. Display capture. Yeah, here we go. Alright, we'll put that under here. Great, we're doing main screen today. None of these other screens. That way I can switch between everything and just treat the main desktop as the target desktop. Okay, we got a few more things to load up here. File browser would be nice. Okay. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing pretty good. I have a kind of a big to-do list I want to get done today. It's not exactly in the perfect order. I don't know what this is. Why do I have Q? Let's just move this stuff over here. I don't need a Q. Okay, so I'm using whatever to-do list. And I'm building a game that's pretty neat, I think. The idea is that the world, you have like two opposing teams fighting each other, and the world expands to the right. And so base one guy, this is base one, this is base two. And so as the world expands, you expand with it, or you expand to the right rather. So if you're over here, you're not seeing the world expand. And over here, you won't see it expand either, you'll just move. But if you're right near this crossing point, this threshold, then you'll see something. Why does it say I banned somebody? And auto ban somebody. So yeah, you can see this threshold, and that the point is that allows you to cross between this boundary. But what is that threshold? That's the expansion of the world. So the world actually expands out like that, like an accordion. Or not an accordion, it unfolds, it like rolls out. So at the start of the game, you're going to be really close to the enemies, and you're going to be able to take pop shots and fight them easily. But as time goes on, it gets harder and harder and harder. So that's the idea. Something I should work on actually is changing the game name based off of the module, and maybe even making that part of CMake. I don't need to do that right now, but title should match game name. All right. So I need to have it to where you're controlling units in the world, that you can see all the units in the world as like a debug person. That there are teams, we'll have things drawn with different colors for different teams. Right now everybody is white. So I want to change that to a different color. Just to show you some of the cool things here is these are modules that I can swap between, but they're actually DLLs that I have made as outputs. So let me change this to type. And so up here I have these game DLLs, and these are, I would call modules. And I have the main game over here in the engine. I have an engine. Oh wow, I'm not going to be able to wave my hands and make points. I have an engine, and I have the module. And whenever I like pick a module, so I have 3 modules right now. It does its own update loop, or not update, but has its own update method, its own render method, and its own persisted data that's been, created by the main game. So it's kind of like somewhat of a virtual machine thing. So I can switch between these, and the memory gets cleared. It allocates memory. It doesn't maintain state between them. But if I were to, say, program a little bit, like for example, I could change this yellow color to a different color, and I could do that like this here. Oops. Let's get this on the right, snap it to the right real quick just for this demonstration. And then on the left, so let me kill this window. Okay, so then we want to go to, say, the yellow. And if I change this yellow here to orange, and I compile, it will reload it if it doesn't have any compilation errors. Really? Cannot open. Oh. It says I can't open it for some reason. Oh, okay, so I have a bug? I think I have a bug. Let's try that again. Cannot open it. Interesting. Well, that's off to a good start, right? Let's try this again. Okay, it worked. Ugh. It's the worst when it does this type of stuff. Okay, so I'll do the demo again. So I've got this over here. It's going to be orange because I made the change. I'm going to now change it to red. There we go. So I demonstrated it, and then I'll compile it again. And so I don't really need to, I don't know what that error was, but I'll have to, work on that at some point, and not right now on stream because I want to get some things done. So anyways, I'm able to do hot swapping of DLLs and continue to make progress on the game without recompiling the engine. So that saves me a ton of time. I also don't have to close the game, so I get to see the effects of my changes without having to reload the entire state of the game. And there are ways where I could make that work. Okay, so this thing reset. I think that's because... Oh yeah, because I have... So I'm... I have to actually put the... Okay, my microphone might be too loud. There we go. I have to actually put the data in the right place, and that's why that was happening. Anyways, I don't feel like anyone would be following right now anyways, like the details of what I'm saying. So okay, what do I want now? I want to, I think we're doing ads right now, but whatever. I want to like actually, let me prioritize this list real quick. You know what's not fun about this thing is it's too wide. Finally, they added completed tasks. I've been asking for that for years. It's not wide enough, right? I said it was too wide, but it's not. It's like I want more width here. Okay, basic damage. I don't need. I have most of these. I just don't have center on or follow. I guess I could make an offset. I want it when you have the camera at 0, 0. I want the screen to be centered at 0, 0. So I need to set the camera offset to be something that makes sense. So I'm going to make one of the trap functions to start, and then that could finish up this camera center thing, or finish up the code for it. The center thing where I pass a pointer to something, that's kind of that's something I would want to manage on this end of the street in the module. Okay. Excuse me. So it's going to be a trap function up here that just sets the offset. Okay, so that would be in trap public. And then I have camera stuff here. So I want to do trap set camera offset. And that will be int set x, int offset y. And then I do need some dimension functions at some point to tell me how big the screen is. But in here, I've basically set there's the game world. So the game world, which would be the virtual screen width. It's these two numbers here. So I'll just take those for now. Put that in this one. Okay, so I got those. That's what I'll send into the function. I need to now implement the function, so I'll need to rebuild the engine to get that to go across. Test build grid, what are we doing? Okay, we need this. And I think I added this to the wrong game, yep. This wrong module. Okay, so now we've got this here, got a bunch of things I'm defining. This is where my variables will be fields. Okay. So now when I load this module for the first time, init first, I want to run the trap function that sets the offset. So I'm going to do trap camera offset, and I want to send it to half of it. Hey, should I call you by your username? How's it going? La Folie. Probably gonna say it wrong a million times. How are you doing? Hey Dale. So I'm just getting some early morning. You're kind of tired. I can imagine. Can't imagine why. All right. get that set up. Now that should get me back to the main module, and then I could write down how to consume it. Just use chat Gupta. Yeah, that would make me real smart. You're already aware, but I'm just gonna repeat. I'm making a game in C. I almost said C++, but making a game in C. And I don't know why I ever wasted... I mean, I do know why I wasted so much time elsewhere, but it was because my professors tried brainwashing me, and they were successful. And then I got into the real world and found out they were wrong. All right, this is gonna put the offset where I want it, and then I'm gonna center the camera. I should probably draw on the screen what the current coordinates of the camera is. I'm maintaining that in the back end. I think I need to wire up my draw text to receive a color as well, because it's not doing that right now. So let's set that up. It's only drawing as red, so you can't see things. So go to my... Okay, so I should get the color through, and then I just have to pass it. And I've done this before where I forget to pass it, so... All right, take in color. Some of the stuff I'll use Emacs for, and other stuff I'll just use the editor, because sometimes it's just easier. All right, I think we're at a point where I've got most of my base stuff set up to where I can do this in the engine. So let's see. Load up this one. And okay, great. So we're centered right here. This is where I wanted to be centered. So now I want to... I get confused now if I don't use Vim. It's unfortunate because I'm stuck in this situation where I have to either use Visual Studio. I have to use Visual Studio for work. So it like, you know, when you're really good at two. Yes, I do that. What happens is I'll take a break from writing in Emacs, for example, and then I start messing up all the commands. It's annoying. But I use Doom Emacs, which is got the Vim motions, which you're probably aware of. All I care about is the Vim motions. Vim motions should have been like standard OS. Okay, so I want team base to be yellow. I think that's because I didn't pass a color. And I don't think I fixed it yet. So let's do trap draw text. Did I fix it? I did fix it. Yeah, GUI by default is very bad. I wonder if it's this yellow here. That'd be funny. Let me just do a little thought here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I wonder if it's taking that fifth parameter. I'm gonna do a compile because the color is not gonna change. And then if I change this to red, is it just gonna pass it through? I'm using arglist, so I'm just trying to figure out what its thing is, and it looks like the way it's passing that fifth argument is doing what I thought it was doing. So it just like, at least in this case, it seems like it was just passing that arg. What happened here? I broke it. Draw text. It says it basically is claiming that I don't have. Draw text doesn't have color. This one does. And that's in DLL main, but we need the one. Yeah, DLL main. It does have color. Oh! My, here. Alright, do I remember how to get here? Yes. Okay, so I don't. Okay, so we're gonna do trap. So I'll use PF, trap, public, there we go. And then it's the draw text. I didn't change my header. I probably broke a bunch of my other things by doing this. Okay. Yes, I did. Let's do yellow here. Let the compiler do all the work. All right, good, we got it. So now my team base text is blue, which is what I wanted it to be. So I'm gonna change it here to white. And then this other one will be, let's make this red. There we go. Okay, great. So that helps a ton. We're also centered. We got the camera centered here. I did an offset of the camera by -50, so we're gonna fix that now. So that would be trap camera. Why are my functions written this way? Set camera offset. Why did I do that? Why did I make it harder on myself? It should have been. Okay, so they're implemented in DLL main. DLL main. I should have made my trap function be trap camera. Yeah, like I was writing here. Instead, I did set. Trap move camera. Trap set camera. This should have been trap camera move. Trap camera set. Hello. Welcome to the stream, Con Papas 9. Hello, Con. Oh wow, I haven't seen that follow sign in a while. Thanks for the follow. I forgot that was even working. Alright, so let's see, we got set zoom, we got camera move. So I don't really want to do the moving things around right now because I know I'm just gonna, I should just do it. Gonna break other things. I code in C++ with GL, FW, and GLAD for graphics. Nice. I definitely want to advance from using Raylib at some point, but for now it's about getting something done for me. So that's pretty sweet. Okay, I want to move the camera around a bit, and I want to fix that offset, or not offset, but the move command that I have here. Trap, move camera. Yeah, that was the problem. I broke one of my, naming convention rules. Okay, so this -50 was just for fun. I don't need that anymore. Okay, great. So now the camera's centered on him. That makes it really easy. I don't have to think about it anymore. Okay, good. Oh, the text looks a lot better when it's yellow. So now we're moving. Move with it. There we go. Okay, so I would say that's done for now. No, no, no. It says camera zoom. I had it correct in my to-dos. I'm going to fix this because I'm not using camera. I'm making a game where 2 teams are fighting each other. It could be 4 teams, but the world expands out from the center. So at the start of the game, you're very close to your opposing team. And as the world grows, the distance grows between you and your opposing team. And so it's going to be it's going to be a 2D game. And you're going to basically fight with swords and bows and magic, and you'll have items and things. And one person is going to be the boss, like the king, and the other people are going to be mostly the units. So it's like got a mix of RTS here and there, and then top-down like action game. And so you fight. It's like basically a PvP game. And so you fight the opposing team, try to slay their king. That's the goal. And if you kill the king, then you win. And the king is going to be very strong in base, but average, maybe above average outside of base. So you can't just kill him in the home base, but it's easier to kill him when he's out in the wilderness, which is basically the area that is in blue right now. And so I'm just working on getting some of the basics done, and then I'm going to expand from there. And I'm going to keep using programmer art for as much time as I can, so I don't get distracted. And I don't know if there was an ad playing, but so that's what I'm working on. I'm going to get a lot done today, though. I really do think I'll get a lot done. I just have to stay focused, which is actually kind of easy to do. We're going to keep the old versions for now, so that I can stop using the bad version, but not stop, or not have to fix everything that I broke, because I have 2 implementations now. Okay, DLL main should have everything, so why don't we just do a quick compile and see if I've got any errors. According to this, I have some problems, I think. Warnings, no errors. Great. I'm going to put the world state into my game state pointer now, instead of having it be contained as like variables locally, so that when I reload the module, it doesn't reset everything. So I have game state. I've got some memory stuff here. So because I'm writing in C, I've got to manage all my own memory. So I wrote in a memory arena to help with that. It's pretty silly, but it works really well. What do I want here? I want to put the camera position, which is world camera, so that's already saved. So I should be able to move here and change red on something to blue and compile, and I shouldn't move. Yep. But the world position, this stuff, the expansion. Yes, it's true, you do. And sometimes to your own peril, when you forget to do stuff. I mean, I know that. So Khan said, I mean, you also manage your own memory in C++ sometimes. It's true. You have to. There are actually situations you can do it in C#, but you have to turn on unsafe mode. I remember turning that on. There's a lot of stuff you can do if you want to turn on the unsafe parameter. But it's silly that that's what it's called. Okay, I think I just have it defined as an int somewhere, so let me go find it. Oh, it's the world expansion thing, so that should be like world. Yes, it's these things. I've had these factors that should have just been in here. 500, 410. Okay. So let's just yank to that. Smart pointers. Okay. So for a smart pointer, what is it? What makes it smart? Like, what is it doing? Okay, you got max world size here. We're not using it. Max expand size. I think I'm using that. Yes, I am. So we're going to do game state pointer. So then just expand world factor. Okay, we got a couple places to go. Expand world factor. And then I'll go back. Boom. 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 Essentially, it frees itself after you're done using it, and there is unique pointer for single owner, shared pointer for multiple owners, and weak pointer to prevent some possible leaks. I won't go into detail. I do find that there's a lot of detail in C++ for sure. I'm defining that locally, so that doesn't matter. All right, and let's do one more check. Expand world size, world factor. Okay, other places. Yes, allocators for the win. That's where I'm at. Okay, we got that one done, and then we just need to do max expand size just to see if there's some lingering thing. Good, good. Okay, we're compiling now. Okay, so it looks like I've got something leaking out. No, that's not a leak. There's no leak there. Just when I compiled him, I think I broke something, so. Blue, find the blue. We can get the enemy base number 2 to not be blue. It should be green. Okay, get that to be green. Okay, and I didn't lose my expansion. I think what's going on is there's something related to the camera that's just getting messed up. So you said mall. I'm not sure what mall means, but it's kind of like, it's not like a MOBA in the sense that like you pick your heroes and stuff like that, but you are fighting against the similar things to like League of Legends, where you've got like two teams constantly coming at each other, right? And you have a king unit that's controlled by a player, and he does the base management stuff, and then you can play as a unit. Typically, you just play as simple units, or you could play as a hero unit. And just thinking out loud some of the stuff I had in mind. And then you would have bad guys you're fighting, whether they're coming from the enemy base or they're in the wilderness. And the game expands from the center, so you start out really close to your opposing team, and then as time goes on, it expands, and you're further and further away. So I'm having it like expand the world out like that. So it'll be like a full strip could be this long, but it starts out like this and then it grows. And so there is some, like, there can be towers that you fight, but it's not going to be a tower. It's like it's mixing a couple things. It'll make more sense once I get more things on the screen, but that's the basic idea. It's a mixture of an RTS and a League of Legends like game, and I'm not doing the heroes inflation. It's going to be simple. Like, I'm thinking like it's a 3v3 game or a 4v4 game, or you could have multiple teams, like 4 teams. You could have 3 teams, but the expansion code is going to be really different. There are games that I've played in Warcraft 3 where you buy units and they come down the top and you have to kill those units. Or sorry, you buy units and it sends them to your enemy and they have to fight those units. And that's a tower defense. And I think that's yeah. It's going to be like that. It's going to be like a mall game in that sense, where you're going to be building in your base the things that are going to then lead to the types of auto attacking units that come in. Yep. So it'll be more like a mall. Yep. That's a good name now. Now I actually can say something about it like that. So let me see. I want to. So I moved my functions over. It's resetting properly. So next step is I probably need to make the camera move in the y-axis, just so we have that nice camera there. I guess it's going to be move camera. We'll change this to we should be jumping up. All right, great. Now I have a guy on the map, a camera. I had some other white balls here, but did I turn those off? Let me see. I must have turned them off. No, I have the units here. I'm not rendering them anymore for some reason. That's odd. What did I do? Did I break it? So I'm drawing the line on the top and the bottom. And in here, I should have more entities. I've made them. So why aren't they showing? You know, I gotta do a quick debug on this. All right, so I'm creating multiple units. I assume the first one's the player because I'm just being, expedient. 1 second. little little helping the wife. She had a question about the stroller. Hopefully she got it. Otherwise, I'll have another phone call, which is okay. All right. So I'm assuming the first one is the player unit, and so I made more of them. It should be adding them. So I'm concerned that I must have broke something. We'll see. So this is the entities. It's going to go through them. We're going to draw a circle. So this should be getting past the first one. So get the first one, and then we'll get to the second one. I1. So let's see. My X position. Yeah, it should be showing up. And it's white. And it jumped. Yes, because it's not going to show that stuff unless if they're... Interesting. Okay, so they should be there. They're just not... Yeah, they're there. Okay, there's these guys down here. And then as I expand the world... Oh, because they're on the right. Stupid. Okay. So I do have some bad guys in there. That's all I needed to know. Oops. Okay. Close that. Too many windows. Okay. So I probably should put them at 91. Well, they should be right here. So that when I expand it, they're not shooting off into the wilderness. 63. Okay, this should work a little bit better. Okay, they're just like one notch before it. At least I have them here, so now I can go and do some collision detection code and just... Oh. I'm already jumping over the boundaries to check for collision, so I don't think it's a problem to keep doing that. I'll start out with collision code and then I'll jump to the thing. So I'll just have the circles collide for now, and then if I want to optimize it, I'll do squares and then whatever. I'm just not gonna bother too much. So we got drawing code. Let's put all that together. Collision code is going to be reusable, so I would want the interface to just be very basic. Let's see what Raylib's using, because I'll probably settle on that anyways. And then it's going to be the width. And then we just do all those again. You're looking, or so Con, you're looking into, you're reading about OpenGL. So what have you implemented so far? Because you were talking about the GLFW. Maybe I don't know what GLFW is. I probably don't. I thought. Utility library. Okay. So you're just working a lot on OpenGL. Collide Rex. Like a lighter SDL. Okay. I've done a little bit with SDL when I was trying to learn getting anything on the screen. And I have like a project where I got decently far with using it. X, Y, so let's get Y in there. But I was getting tired of not making progress on making a game and just making progress on trying to draw things. I prefer SDL for the controller database. Does OpenGL come with a controller database, or is that just something that SDL does? And you're talking about like a gamepad? I need to return a value, so I'm returning an int, so it should be true or false. So let's jump back here. It's going to be a Boolean, but oh no, just make it a Boolean. Hello, right? This is going to return an int result equals this, and I can just return result. Bingo. And that's the wrong area to do it. Trap collides, returns a Boolean, and then this is going to be an int result and return result. Okay, fun. So then here, collides left, right. Oh, that shouldn't be called collides. It should be called collide. Collision. Just call it check. Collision rec. There we go. Rex. 2 rectangles. Okay. Collide Rex. Oof. Gonna have a lot of variables in there. Ugh. Gotta love hotkeys that take over your actual useful hotkeys. Oh, great. Let's just send to the whole world my email. Doesn't matter. Okay, so keyboard shortcuts. Okay, let's try this out again. Control space. Yeah, there we go. Does STL just work in Linux, or do you have to do extra things? Bam. Cross-platform, that's good. Okay, so then we've got that, and we got to return a value, so let's return it, and it's going to be true or false, and boom, we should be able to get the collision with just that. So I'll compile, I gotta recompile this. Okay, we're good, and then we'll do the test build and recompile that. Great. Now I want to test out the trap function, so I want to see, oh, you know what? I said I was going to do circles, and I just did rectangles. But I can make a circle, what do you call it, a rectangle out of a circle, so that's not a big deal. And just to check and see, it's 5 radius, so we're going to say 10, 10, and then we'll do color yellow. Okay, done. Let's just run this real quick. Okay, so, yep, so I do need to shift it, radius left. So we'll do -5, -5. Run that. Okay, great. So for the sake of this, you know what's odd is, why do I got this overhang stuff on here? That can't be healthy. One moment. Okay. So now, yeah, weird. So normally when I would draw a rectangle, it didn't look all stupid, you know? Like I'm gonna, well, let me not use this anymore. Let's go back to Emacs so it's a little bit smoother. So in here, it's just like, why is it doing that? Is it because it's, do I need to, what if I cast these to ints? Could be something where the floating. I think I was using floats, so nope, that didn't fix it. It's because I'm using. That just doesn't make sense. I'm minusing a whole number. Let's just see what we got. We vectors. Yeah, the vector. Yeah, but my position, according to this, is still decent. It's not enough. It's just not enough. Try adding 0.5. That could help. No, I think it's something to do with. Well, I don't even know what it is at this point. Let's make this a 4. It could be my camera, the way I set up the camera. No. Am I drawing lines? I hope I'm not drawing lines. Let me see what I'm doing for draw rectangle. So I'm calling home base here, so then we need to go to the, so that's going to be CG draw rectangle line. Oops. So go here, and I'm pulling it in as an int, but it's not an int, it's a float. So that could be problematic, but no, that's not. If the camera is at non-int coordinates, that could be doing it. Yeah, let's print out the camera coordinates. That's probably better. Okay. There we go. And then we'll jump to the top here to the camera, world camera. Okay, so then down here. Oh, you know what? That's because you need to tell it where to put the color. One, two. I've got 5. Ah, yeah, I need to include the size. Okay, so camera's at 0, 0. And that's not valid. Okay, so where am I? I guess I'm not updating my camera position stuff anymore. So let's look at move camera. Yes, so I just need to do that. Okay. And that's because that's wrong. Okay. So yeah, my camera is off by a small amount, but that's... I guess I could force the camera... cast these to ints. What am I doing in trap move camera? That's where I need to look at it. Yeah, so it's taking in ints. I'm giving it yeah, no, it's sending integers. So my camera is going to have integers. When I set the zoom, it's a float. When I set the offset, it's ints. So it's the camera's going to be in int coordinates. That's weird. That's such a weird thing. I wonder if I do a fill rectangle, if the fill rectangle will have the same issue or not. So we got drawn. Oh, it's even happening here. Look at that. That makes me wonder if that's just, there's a bug in Raylib at this point. I guess I could test that out. And it could be the way I'm setting up my render texture and all of that. So there could be something wrong here, but I'm going to draw a rectangle above this texture here. And we're going to do 50, 50, 10, 10, blue. It's doing it here too. Look at that. I wonder if it's... So I just went and did a little test on using it directly. And the fill's fine, but the draw lines... Yeah, I think the internal code for it's messed up because I'm not doing any like weird scaling thing. Okay, maybe I am. Okay, yeah, when I full size it, I lose one of them. So there might be a ratio issue in my code here. So let me see. We're doing the screen camera space. Do I have anything weird going on in the screen camera? Oh yeah, right here when I go to full screen, well, maximized, it's got a point here. Yep. But when I shrink it, it doesn't. But if you look at the full, Oh, the yellow ones. Yeah, the yellow ones here. They have it. But these blue ones are being they're not going across the, like I'm making DLL calls across. And these ones are running at the engine level. And they're not on the same camera as these ones. So even with just the main camera, I'm getting things. But that's with the lines, not the rectangles. I normally don't have this problem. I've done a lot of stuff here with this, and I've not had this issue before. That's confusing, really. It's turning them into floats. We've got a zoom factor. We'll just jump in. See if there's anything that doesn't make sense here. Ooh. Okay. Zoom factor is 0.5. So that's odd. That doesn't make any sense. Screen space camera is at zoom 1. And then in here it says, okay, so yeah, I don't know what this is about here. Let me just, because I'm compiling this anyways, let's just do this for a moment. I mean, this will probably break other things, but let's give it a try. Nah, just more issues. Okay, well, I guess it's worth walking through, though. Today I'm going to get a lot of stuff done. Instead, I'm debugging something that's tangential to what I want, but whatever. It's going to cause other things later, right? And I really don't know much about, the behind the scenes with all this graphics stuff, so I'm not going to be very intelligent about it. Zoom factor. Oh, this should be 0 then. And then when we get to the big stuff, I'm sure we'll find some things. Okay, great. So it looks fine, except the bottom left pixel here is missing like a dot. Okay, great. So, and then it flips to the top left. So again, it's just the way that draw line code's being written. And a matter of fact, if I wanted to, I could just draw lines instead of rectangles and just draw 4 lines and get it to draw the way I want. So I don't want to modify this code here, so it's just for debug. So yeah, I mean, like, I don't really need to make it perfect. And I don't even need to use draw rectangle lines, is what I was getting at. I can just do draw line and then just draw each line. It's like not that hard. It's not hard at all, actually. It's literally just very basic stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. It's like, what's the point? You know, it'll be done, it'll work, and I won't have to think about it. So plus there, and then we're going to go plus height, and then we're going to go plus height without W. So we got width, then we've got width and height. That's a diagonal. Okay. Let me think about this. This is not hard. It's just a lot easier if you draw it first. I'll draw it in paint. Okay, so we got our X. Basically, I'm drawing this. And then y is going to be here. X plus W is going to be here. X plus W, Y plus H. And then this is going to be Y plus H. Okay, great. So I just need to do those real quick. So we've got X plus Y. I'm going to draw the top line first. So that's X width. There we go. I got that one. So that's going to be my top. We'll do this. We'll put that at the end for myself. And then we'll just delete the rest. Okay. Then I'll draw the bottom line, which would be okay, top, bottom, and then we'll do left, right. X, Y, so top down, bottom left, right is going to be, left line is going to be the XY to Y plus H, so that'd be Y plus H. And then right line is going to be the same, but the X's all have their width added to them. Okay, there we go. Compile, run. Oops. Congrats. No. Oh no, that I was like, no, but that's just the default one. And so it's almost right, but when it's going down like this, I think my starting point, something's off by one. Won't that overshoot by 1 pixel? You know, it might. And it looks like it probably is. Do I have a way to zoom in? I do, but I gotta add it back. I'm gonna draw a rectangle to the right of it. That's a fill rec, and we can compare the two. Yes, you're correct. And it should be a fill. Yeah, I don't know how it's working either, but I'll figure it out. So I want it to draw the lines exactly the same as it draws it here. I don't want it to draw the outline of a rectangle. I want it to draw the rectangle. So this one here I've seen, this is correct. So from what I can tell... Oh, I'm still doing it. There we go. So this one, there's a pixel on the left. So, is that right? Wait, I just saw something. Yeah, there it is. Go past 0, there's some weird behavior. But that's not related to this. Whenever you cross the zeros, it's a moment of issues. So this is one far, two left, and this one is one far, two south. So it's about the starting point is being off by 1. Up, down, left, right. So let me just look at it again. If I make it go down, then that's going to be too far down. It needs to go over 1x, and then it needs to be 1 less distance. So let me just... That should actually shrink it 2 by 1. Okay, so we're fine on the x-axis. It's the y that needs to be addressed. So now y should probably be one more check. It's 1 too long for the bottom. So we want the bottom to be -1. And that's one pixel too far for the x. So then that would be these ones here, -1, -1. Okay. Okay, that looks like what I want. Okay, we're going to remove all that now because we don't need it anymore. These things. Okay, now I have my yellow circle thing, which is going to be the collision rectangle that I'm using. I now want to have it touch something else. Render that it's touching it. Call it a day. So we're going to have everything collide against item 1 or item 0 if does not equal 0. Do trap check collision rex. I was going to say check collision. That's funny. Okay, I'm making these 10 widths, so we'll just do 10, 10, 10. And we pause. So that's entity, the current one. So and I'm not going to have my collision code be in render. It's just a matter of convenience to trigger this. I'll move it in a sec. Okay, I want to zoom in, so let's get the zoom going. Let's make it X5. Okay. And then oof. Got to initialize your variables. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I can see why the zoom factor is the thing. Why is it? Okay. I want to zoom out. I'm zooming in. Oh no, that is what I want. I wanted to zoom in. Okay, that looks funky. So that's how I know I've got some work to do on my zoom functions. But that's weird that... I guess that's kind of just the Raylib thing is... That's all I'm gonna get. That doesn't matter. That's kind of sucky. I guess that's just how that works. Whatever. Okay, so I'm colliding. So stupid. Okay, so we're hitting that one. We're hitting that one. Looks like we're doing fine here. I guess I wanted to do like 1 pixel of movement at a time as my test. So I could see like if I'm exactly there or not. So let's set that up. Oh yeah, plus equal that. Let's have it be whole numbers instead. Why do I have errors now? I didn't have errors 2 seconds ago. Oh, stupid. Oh, it's down. I'm using down. I should do ease is key pressed. That'll force it to do 1 tick at a time. Nope. Okay, that's... Maybe I didn't rebuild it. Nope, still not. I need to fix my... Yeah, you just find all these bugs as you go. Just keep on finding bugs. Okay, so key swap. Okay, there's no like... Maybe it work half the time, like type of thing. No. Okay, so I was doing keyboard state. Are we using keyboard swap? Where we're controlling the keyboard state, are we using keyboard swap? Yes, we're swapping every frame. So then that method needs to check that the last and the current are not equal. So need to not equal each other. And the key I care about needs to be true. Okay, so that is key released. Because when I press it, that's weird. It's not. It is moving each. No. So if I push it down and then release, push down. Sometimes it. Yeah, I'll have to spend. Okay, well then. Okay, they're not equal, but... Oh, here, they're not the same. So this would be as soon as it's pressed. So they're not equal as soon as it hits true, whereas release, this is when you let go. It's still acting like is released. I wonder... I think I have to actually rebuild that there as well. I think yeah, it's working now. It's all right. I mean, every time I do something like this, I get a little bit more of my engine under wrap or under control, so I don't mind. Okay, so we're gonna take this long trek down. I'm gonna zoom in at our weird lines that are influenced by zoom factor, and we're gonna have them touch. Zoom out until we're back to pixel land. And are they touching? They're not touching. Touching. Not touching. Touching. Okay, we're good. Let's go on this side. I mean, I'm pretty confident it works. I just want to make sure it looks correct too. In. All right, we're good. Okay, so now I got collision working. Now I want to do something where you have the awareness of the direction your character is facing based off of your mouse. So I'm going to use the mouse input to control the direction you're facing, and then what on earth? Take out your calculator, guys. I gotta show you something. How are you getting all these? Oh, man. There are some crazy emotes out there, that's for sure. Some like, I got Prime, I can easily get Spiro's Mario ones, which is nice. Oh, what is this thing? There you go. At least he didn't upload the rat with the huge rat units, the rat sacks. All right, what do we got here? So I started out. Yeah, that's a weird cut. Yeah, exactly. I started out with the goal of getting the guys to show up on the screen. They're all there. I'm gonna change my. I fixed my collision, or I have collision detection now. I have the ability to draw things. Looks good now, even though it's funky when you zoom out. That's fine. This needs to get rebuilt. I've made some progress. I'm actually happy with the progress I've made. Make sure the compilation works. Okay, good. All right, we're back to zoom in. What I want to do now is have it to where I'm aiming in the direction where my mouse is, and when I click, it's going to do like a little attack. And for me, I just need it to be a rectangle, or I guess a circle is what I really want. Like a arc, what do you call it? Kind of a triangle thing. So I'll have to figure out how to do all that. It's going to be fun. But for now, I just want to do a circle where I click and then trigger damage that way. And the distance. Oof, I've done all this before. I'm just like sitting here like, oh man, I have to like do that all again. It's annoying. But hey, this is for the long term. So I'm going to have like a circle be drawn where my mouse is. It's going to be a fill circle. I already have a fill circle method, so That's easy. I already have the ability to get the mouse. So let's get the mouse having a circle, follow it for now, and then move from there. So go to gm_render. And I believe, so I haven't used mouse in this one yet, and I forget where I implemented that. CG mouse. Is mouse down? Mouse state pointer. Am I updating this somewhere? Probably DLL main. In DLL main, I'm getting the pointer, but am I updating any of its values? No, because I haven't done anything with it yet, have I? No, here I have. So in here, I must have been updating that mouse state pointer. No. Okay, so that's in one of the test modules. Oh, I was just managing the button state. So that means that I need to look at test game 1. And I need to actually get the mouse position stuff to be part of the regular game loop for all of the games. So add unit. Mouse position X, mouse position Y. Where are you being set? Okay, so there's got to be somewhere this is being set. Ah, here. DLL main. So it is happening automatically. I don't need to think about it. So I can just use it. GG mouse stator pointer. Oh, right. And it is here. It used to work perfect. Oh, it's the camera. I'm not adding in the camera to the mouse coordinates anymore. So when I was at the origin, it worked. But now that I've done with that work, it's wrong. So I got to fix the conversion method to work with the camera. It wasn't working with the camera before. Oh man, this is the part where it's like big pain in the butt. Okay, so that's happening in the main function here. We're getting our input from above, so that's gonna have to be corrected at the game level or the engine level. So then that makes it a little bit harder. So Update virtual mouse X and virtual mouse Y. Get mouse position game. So this is where I've got to convert it to the camera coordinates. So I'm going to print this out. But right now it's... Man, this part is like the big pain. Mouse position, I wrote that. No, I didn't. I got that from somewhere. Okay, so now this stuff's like pain in the butt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the offset first, and then see if the mouse is messed up, and then if it's just the offset, then that makes it really easy. So let's do offset. Where we should be setting offset here. Test main game main. That's not the one we're doing. We're doing build grid. Test camera offset, that and that. Instead we will do 0, 0. Okay, compile that, run it, build errors. Yes, run. Okay, so the good news is no, that's not good news. So it is being affected without the offset. Can't even see the player. So target and offset have an effect. So now let's put target at 0, but offset not. Move camera. Okay, so offset. It's a constant thing. So now we go back to offset. And we set that to 0 again. Try again. And it should be fine. No, it's not. Ah, are you kidding me? Did I rebuild this? Rebuilt. Alright, we've got it back to normal. It works perfectly now. See, that's the problem though, is it shouldn't be doing this. So now we need to fix the mouse pointer, because the pointer needs to be pointing to the world, the position in the world. So let's start off by taking the offset value and moving it. And then this value here, this needs to be stored in my camera. So we're going to do load offset X. Oh, could just have this trap function. No, that's written somewhere else. I'm not gonna cross those wires there. Okay. So the idea is that we need to use offset X and Y, subtract that from the mouse calculation here. So then we do world camera. Then I want to also move the offset around a bit and verify that things still work. So first we'll do this. Okay, we've got the offset good. So now I want to use, I'm gonna use the arrow keys because I don't really care about the zoom feature. The zoom feature is garbage. So at least for now, we'll just and it's up, so that would be minus. Plus. Left. And right. Okay. And then we should also do trap underscore camera set offset. Bam. Save that. Unresolved symbol with camera set offset. Okay, probably because I added a an O. I don't know. So it's ints. Okay. And these are floats. Oh, they can. Why are we using ints? You know, that's okay. We can use ints. So then, because that's a pixel, so I'd be fine with that. All right, here we go. Oh. All right. Great. And then we can have target follow the player for the other one. So if I move to the right, so now we have to subtract the rest of that. So if I move to the right, then I need to move the ball to the right. So we're doing an add instead of a subtract. Okay. So now let's update. Have that follow the player. Ooh, look at that. That's good. And the mouse is in the correct spot. Doesn't matter what upset, what target I'm doing. If I go past 0, whatever, I'm basically there. There's a little bit of weirdness, but I think that's partly because I'm moving, because when I stop moving, it stops. And I guess I could fix that by casting a little bit, but it's good enough. Okay, let's get the ball back in the center of the screen. And then I could actually, if I really wanted to be perfectly center, I could do a little bit more. But this is good for now. Let's just stop. Let's get rid of this. I don't need any modifications to that. And launched. Okay, so I now have a circle, and I can do a trigger or do a collision with the circle. You know what's funny? I think I just realized something. My collision detection code, because I'm not that's funny. So because I'm not converting the collision stuff properly, but I'm doing it twice where I'm not converting it on both ends, it works, but it's not the true coordinates. So if I do this, which is supposed to be the half the radius to the left, and y as well, that would be actually correct. Just in case if there's other things, because what I'm doing is I'm converting a circle into a square, and the way the squares are rendered, or circles are rendered, is center, you draw to the right, draw to the left, whereas squares are, you have a point at the top left and you draw to the right, and etc. Okay, so that's resolved. Then I have my circle, which I should do collision detection on the circle as well. So we'll do that right now. That's going to be the same thing that I have here. And it's a collision detection. It's just a drawing a line when something collides. Okay, so we want to do the same thing, except instead of the player, we're going to do GG underscore mouse state pointer mouse position X -5 and player position mouse Y, and then that will have the mouse be a collider against these circles, and it's a rectangle it's using, so it's gonna collide when it's not visually colliding, which is okay for now. And there we go. So now I can do, say I do a left click, I can make it take damage, and then eventually I can make it to where the distance, I've already have code for this somewhere else, but I'll just write it again, to where I can say what the max distance is. Well, no, that's not how I want it to work. You're gonna have your weapon be able to be pointed in some sort of direction, but it's only based off of your character, and they're going to have like 8, or not 8 directions, but it's going to take whatever your direction is from you to your mouse, and when you click, that's when you're going to attack, but you're going to be facing in one of 8 directions based off where your mouse is. So like if you click this way, it's like a swing arc like this, but maybe if you're like here, it might be a little bit moved. But we're not going to show that with the player yet. Maybe we will eventually have it to where their weapon is showing. I mean, I could do that. I probably should. I'll do it that way. So it always shows where like your thing is, but your mouse, your weapon would always be like this. So they could, you're walking and you'll see where they're pointing their weapon, but it's going to be a kind of a on the rails type of circling around here. So it'll have like a circle it stays within and draws around. So it's a radius based thing. So if I'm over here with my mouse, my weapon will be right here. If I'm right here with the mouse, it'll still be there if I'm pointing in the right angle. So I'm going to go with that. Whenever you click, it should show a circle here in that direction. So I want to do a vector from the center and then make its distance be the same whenever you click. So let's just start off with whenever you click, let's draw a circle, and then we'll go from there. So yes. So that's going to be mouse button check. And I have a library. Is it written like this? No. But that's stored in here. So it's going to be MB is mouse button down. And then I have the constants. So let's try that out. Okay, so we want to do a little bit of vector math. Target minus starting point is your direction vector. So let's do that. Target minus starting point. So that would be, I did vec2 add, so it's target minus starting point. So that's going to be our mouse positions. And did I write this so I don't need, I wrote it so you have to have vectors. I should have written it, we don't. But I guess, whatever, takes 2 seconds. And what is vector? It's a float, so we're gonna do float v1x, float v2x, float. Okay, and then here we're returning a vector. Oh, it's because I wanted to have vectors and return vectors and pass vectors and not, okay, so we'll just do the vector approach. That's fine by me. Okay, and it's easy. Literally just do parentheses vector underscore 2 parentheses that. I wonder what version of the C standard gives me, it allows for this, because I hope it's not like, I hope I'm not, you know, target minus source. Hope I'm not too far out. So we're going to use the player. We'll get his position. What am I saying? I hope I'm not too far out. Let me use English. I hope I'm not using features that are in way too far away from like C89 or something. Like I bet you I am though. Okay, so this is going to be the vector that points from the player to the target. So to target. And this should be, is this about the origin? Let me think about that. No. So I'd want to do that would take me to the origin. Why is there two inputs to take to the origin? Okay, so how am I using this? Huh? How's that not different than a subtract? Huh? What? Was I being lazy? I mean, that does get you to the origin, but let me see where I'm using it. This one. So I'm saying the target entity. Which is going to be the player to this point here. Oh, I could have named this better. This is... Is that what we're saying? And is that even right? So we're taking in V1, which would be my source, and then V2. So I just draw it. Ooh. Sometimes I feel stupid to have to like draw this stuff, but it's not that big of a deal. Let's just say I have 1 and 2, and then I want this here, but I want it to be based at the origin, and this is 3, 4. Right, so then if I say 1 to 2, so it's actually putting 2 minus 1, which, yeah, is a vector pointing from the... Yeah, so this would be 2. And then this would be 4 minus 2 is 2, which would get me, let's say we're doing 1, 2 like this. It'd be... this is like dumb stuff. So it basically be vector pointing like this. And then if we did 1, 2 here... So this was 3, and then we said ding ding. So this would be 4 up here. So yeah, I did this before. Okay. Vector from V1 to V2 centered around the origin. So then I would just take from the player we'll see. This could be completely wrong. I'm going to draw the line, though. Draw a line from 0 to I'm only drawing that if we press the button. So why don't I do, let's get into here so we can do some more rapid stuff. If left mouse button is down, let's do printf hello world. I'll put this over here. So I'm not getting hello world. I am printing out a lot more stuff than I want. So camera. And that is in the engine. We don't need to update that anymore. And then let's click away. Trying to remove the amount of stuff. I think I might have not written my mouse button down code correctly. I mean, that looks right. So it's not a click, it's held. So when I'm holding it down, it should be saying something, but it's not. I am getting the right output though. So I don't need to say mouse click event and mouse input. So let's get rid of the CL mouse input event, or the printing. We don't need this anymore. It works. I'll comment it out for now. Event loop, mouse pause. Okay, we got that one done. We don't need that anymore. We don't even need the click one. Okay. And then this is fine because this is the module. So we got mouse button 1 and 2. So there, it is swapping back and forth. Why is it saying 0 to 1 over and over again? We're getting 0 to 1, but the state is not 0 to 1. It's 1 to 1. That's the problem. Okay. So that output is mouse pause. That's probably better to do CL mouse pause input. I want to keep this one. Oh no, that's mouse. It's not mouse pause. I wanted the this one. Mouse input. CL mouse input. Here. This is the one I turned off. We want that one to stay on. Okay, and then we go back to here. We want to compile the test grid and run it. Okay, so in here, holding it and letting it go. See, yes. Okay, this is perfect. Okay. So what's happening is I'm getting the mouse button inputs, but I'm always getting I'm always getting 0. So when am I doing the check to see if we have the mouse stuff. So I think I'm resetting the keyboard and the mouse at the same time. But when I'm doing my checks, they are fine. It's okay that it goes from 0 to 1 every time. That's not the bug. The bug is that the other state is not. Yeah, okay, I got it. To make this more useful, I need to not print out one state, but both states in here. So I need like 1 and 2 being printed out so I can see the past and the current. And since this is mouse button 2, you know, it might be worth it to do them like this, and then this would be 2D, and then this one would be 1% D. And then that would give me all the info I need to see if the last state's being maintained or not when I click down. And see how it's 0. So one of them, oh no, that's not the right spot for that. And I don't, yeah, so this is which button? This is, so actually this needs to go here. These need to be swapped. We're going to do this instead. That's where that should go. And then this one will be last mouse 1. Move this over. Good. We got it. Well, that's annoying. But I almost have my answer, so good. I had an extra space here, so it was hard to track with the eyes. Okay, so it is alternating. Even though I have the left button held down, it's alternating, which is not what you want. So this 0 should be 0 always. That's correct. But the last one, it can't be flipping back and forth like that. That's wrong. Because if the last state was 1. So what I'm doing is I think I'm setting the state for the button to 0 for one of them and not swapping and going back and forth. So that's the problem. So that would be in DLL main. That would be mouse somewhere in the update loop related to keyboard or mouse state. But let's see, keyboard state's gonna have its reset happen too. So this is swapping and key swap, mouse swap. And it's mouse swap flipping when key is flipping, yes. Okay, and that's because this should have been 1. Okay, so That wasn't the issue. Okay, it's actually working correctly. Okay, so if it's working correctly, then the issue is in my code called isMouseButtonDown. So when swap is true, we clear out button 1. So let me just look and see what's going on with this. Because the keyboard is written in a similar way, so they should be close in implementation. So is down. Yeah, it's using keys 1, and this one's using mouse buttons 1. Is down. If it's swap is down, check. It should be printing. So let's check to verify my printing code is. So I'm saying is left mouse button, is it down? It should be calling this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're doing it in 2 places. And one's doing 0 to 25 and 0 to 30. So that's weird. And this one's doing 0 to 700, and this one's... So what do we got here? This should be... We'll just change this to 700. Change this to 30, but that's not going to be the main problem. And we've got here, we've got swap. So we would want it swap to be the one that gets those updates. So that's fine. From what I could tell, it should just be working. So we'll do and then we'll also do a little bit of this. Yep, there's a problem. It's getting cleared. Values are getting cleared somewhere. Where it shouldn't be. So we have it in the entry point. It's getting set to false. That's fine. We're not hitting that a million times. And we have their key clear command, which is happening. And key clear, when does that happen? Key clear and mouse clear are in the same call. So we do update and then we clear the key. Oh, that's my fault. Okay, so we need to move key clear outside of game update. And after render. There we go, start. And violation memory. How? What? There's something I'm not doing? VM. If DLL active, okay, you gotta follow the rules. All right, we did it. Oh, that's rough. Okay, so here's what's happening here. This is wrong. It's wrong because I knew I knew this was gonna be wrong. And I wonder if the camera's messing with this thing. Oh, it's from the player. That's correct. I just drawing about the origin, but it is from the player. So if I want to put it here, I would draw it from somewhere here. So I actually have what I need. Good. All that to test that. Ay. Don't clear your keys until after you render. That way, if you're going to do something silly, like do key update logic in your render, you can. Shouldn't be, but whatever. Okay, so that was fun. Did I finish any of my to-dos? Yes, I did. And I made bugs. Or found bugs that I already had and fixed them. So now that we're at a point where things are stable again, let's go back to editing in a more peaceful manner. So we're going to get that arrow to come out from here. We're going to limit its distance by a scale factor of, say, 5. So it only goes out a certain amount. And then once that's done, I can then draw a circle at that endpoint and do that all the time. And that'll show you where your weapon, well, not your weapon, but where your where your weapon would be. So why don't we do that? Okay. So later when we draw the items, they'll just be there. Okay, so we're going to go into GM render. Okay, we'll go to the okay, so we'll get rid of the hello world, we'll get rid of the before check. No. Okay. Cool. You need to add to both, so that where I said no, I should have said yes. There we go. And then you do player int pos x, player int pos y, and then you've got your vector target thing. Great. Great. Doing good. Okay. Enough of that. So now, I feel like I've done this before, but I don't know if I've done it here. So I want to see if I have a rotate vector. That's great. But do I have a normalize? I do have a normalize. So I can do normalize, and then I could do I have a scale? This should literally just multiply, right? Okay, well, instead we'll just do vector to vector scale vector 2t b1 b1 float scale. Then we'll just do great. Perfect. Thank you. Jump back to test build. Compile. Okay. Okay, we now got a normalized vector. And then we want to scale. Scale it by doing, and we'll say 5 pixels. Let's do 10 so you can actually see it. And then change, well, no, we'll not change anything. We're going to draw another one, and we'll draw it with red. And then we'll just use the scaled one. Done. Let me compile it. Okay, I think I have an error. So let's see. Let's see if I can figure it out without consulting. Scale. Yes, okay, I know what it is. I made a new method, but I didn't write the header for it, so. Okay. Bam. Okay, still have an error. Cannot confirm. What am I doing wrong? Oh. You need to tell it what to scale. Oops. Forwards and then 2. Okay, this time it should work. I'll be surprised. Yes, look at that. How cool is that? All right, let's see. So I'm going from the player's position to the target scaled. So I have normalized it, and then I've scaled it. I think my scaling code is only scaling. Well, I think there's got to be a problem with scaling code. So let's look at it real quick. We have V1 and V2 scale. It's weird. So let me. Yeah, that's pretty normal. So there's nothing funky going on with that. So why don't we look at the vector target normal and see what that looks like. So we'll draw that one as green. Oh, it's all the way over there too. Let's go see. Oh, okay, so it's drawing from the origin or drawing to the origin. I don't understand. Oh, yeah, that's what's happening. So when I did vec to target add, I translated it already. Problem is that you shouldn't be translating it. You got to do your scaling stuff, and then you can translate it. So we'll do targ norm scaled, and that should do it. There we go. Spin, spin, spin. All right, so now the next step would be to draw the circle always based off of the origin point of the entity, and then store that in the entity of where their current target point is off in the distance. And then that would work for every single one. So I have it pointing to player entity. I need to not point to player entity. And a lot of these guys aren't going to use the mouse for that. So we probably just want the target to be some, I guess it could be an angle. I don't want to calculate the angle every time though. I'm just going to set up the player's bubble for a second. So this is where we would want to draw it, is at the target scaled vector there. We'd want to draw a circle at the target scaled. So let's do okay. And then that should Draw the circle. And then let's turn off all this other gobbledygook for now. And then we can take all of this stuff out of here, put it here. For now. Okay, great. So now we have that, always drawing. And then instead of the mouse, I want the circle that I'm drawing to be the thing I collide against. And matter of fact, I think we should just store the degrees instead of that. But yeah, so this game is going to be, you've got two teams, they each have a base. The world expands from this point here where they intersect. So if I'm on the left side here and the world gets bigger, I will see the world to my right growing. And if I'm on the right side, I'll see the world to the left growing. I will be moving, but I won't notice it as a player unless if I can see the world's point here. This is going to play like kind of like a winter mall style game, except it's not just tower defense, but you have a player who's building in team 1 as the king, player in team 2, and then you have units that'll go from one end to the other and they fight each other, but you also have, you know, player controlled units. And in this path here, we're going to also have, like the main road, and then we're going to have the wilderness on the top and the bottom. And so things get interesting as the game world expands. More crazy monsters will show up, but it takes longer for your units to make it to the enemy. So at the beginning of the game, you could go and attack the enemy base pretty easily, but it's not the best idea, but it could be good, useful as a distraction. So there's like some concepts around that I think might be fun. This general idea. So right now what I'm doing is I'm building out some collision detection, just testing out my functions and things. And so I want to make these units get hit when I left click and I have the ball near them. That's where my weapon would be. So when I left click, it's going to attack in this area here. And this is just a visual indicator of where it is. So this will also help people see, like if I'm looking up to the up and right, because I don't have any graphics yet, it's just going to be a ball. And then when I have graphics, it'll be a weapon. And then the player itself will potentially be looking to the right or have its sprite in that general direction facing that way. So it could have like 8 directions for their sprites. Such as some ideas I had, some of the little intros. So I'm going to get rid of these lines at the top and the bottom of the boxes now because I don't need them anymore. I was using them to kind of help translate world coordinates to map coordinates and things like that, but I found a way to get around that without having to do that. So we don't need it for debugging right now. So that's this stuff here. And gone. There we go, that clears things up. And I don't need the second one. The second one was because I was going to try out 4-way expansion, but I first got to see if the 2-way expansion works, or rather is fun. It needs to be fun first, and spending time prototyping something that is an additional mode and not verifying the first one is kind of a waste of time. So I got that. I'm going to make this much taller.